Hello, in my continuing video. Today we're going to take a look at the Ultra League version of the Halloween Cup. This is something new this year, which I actually really appreciate from Niantic, that we have like some more cups also for the Ultra League, because I think Ultra League has been out for long enough that we can also have some cups for this league, and we will see today how different the meta going to be compared to the Great League version. There are some similarities and some things that are a little bit different, and also like what kind of Pokemon might be a little bit of a sleeper pick. So let's go right into the meta. Taking a look now at the meta, we're going to see some Pokemon that we of course know already from the Great League version. For example, the Nidoqueen, the Skuntank, or the Tentacruel as well. Galarian Weezing is still one of the coolest Pokemon here as well. I think it's going to be a nice say swap in this meta as well. But there's one Pokemon that is a little bit off here, which is going to be the Genesect. Genesect is actually pretty cool because the ice coverage of the Chill Drive version gives it a lot of play against something, for example, the Nidoqueen, but also something like, Manbuzz, but also the Giratina, which of course is available as well. Giratina going to be one of the best ones as well, as you can see here, ranked at rank 11. Notice that Dragon Breath is actually here the preferred version. There are a lot of dark types in this meta that don't really appreciate the Dragon Breath damage, and actually it's then a kind of neutral matchup, or like even a positive matchup for the Giratina against Pokemon like something like a Shadow Skuntank, for example, like the Shadow Drapion, where you can just go for Dragon Breath down and Dragon Claw down with those moves here for the Giratina. Notice here, of course, you don't really want to run the new special move with the Shadow Force. Ancient Power is just better. Sadly, Shadow Force is not as good. We see the other Genesects here as well. You can also run the Shock Drive or the Burn Drive. I think that the Ice version is just a little bit better though. Like Shock Drive would be able to destroy something like a Tentacruel, which you wouldn't really be able to hit otherwise, but it's not really that common most likely. And the Burn Drive would be able to destroy other Genesects or like other Steel types in this meta. We actually see Nihilego pretty high here, which is something that I didn't really expect whatsoever, but I kind of want to take a look at this Pokemon as well. Now with the move Poison Jab, Rock Slide, and the Sludge Bomb, I think it's a little bit overrated. I don't think it's going to be as good. And we see some more of those Pokemon that you already kind of know from the normal meta. There are going to be a lot of Dark and Poison types together again, and there's not a lot that you can do about it. Shadow Scissor still going to be one of the coolest picks that you can run, as Cavalier as well, but otherwise it's pretty similar to the meta that we had prior. Just some more legendaries in there and something like the Genesect, which might be a very decent pick for this meta. Today we're going to have 6 teams here for this cup. 5 of them are just normal teams, and 1 of them is like a full Shadow team that you can run, of course, also without Shadow Pokemon. But yeah, there are not a lot of teams that I can really build here compared to the other one. It's a little bit more tricky because there are less Pokemon available. But we can take a look at the first one here. We have the Giratina in the lead, which is here running with Dragon Breath. You can also decide to go for Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw might be a little bit better, but it really depends. Shadow Claw gives you a little bit of a better matchup against Genesect, which I think might be a little bit more worth it, but depends really on how many you see. I don't think a lot of people will build a Genesect for this, but we have to see. Then we have, as a say swap, something like the Skuntank, something like the Alone Mug, something like the Overquill, something like the Drapion. Those poison and also dark types are really nice in this current meta, I would say. So those in the backline all fine. Alternative, you can also run the Tentacruel as an XL version, because this Pokemon also got buffed and has a lot of potential. It has the option to go for Scald against something like the Genesect. And yeah, like all of them are basically fine. You can literally just mix up whatever you want in the back there and it should be fine. Giratina is just the main core that you kind of want to keep there. Giratina is one of the best Pokemon, if not the best Pokemon in this meta. With the next team, we're going to have another ABB line here with the a dark type in the lead, basically. We have the Umbreon or the Flying Umbreon. It depends on what you really want to use. I think the Flying Umbreon is a little bit better than the normal Umbreon, but yeah, both of them are pretty fine. We have, as a say swap here, the Chill Drive version mainly. Like, you can also use the other Drive version if you saw the meta part of this video, but the Chill Drive version is a little bit better. As a say swap here with the Genesect, or you try to get out the Giratina from the opponent because they don't want to face your lead. And then you have the Pokemon in the back, which is going to be the S-Calf, which then can clean up some poison types in the end game. You can also use something as a say swap as well, but also in the back, like the Shadow Scissor, those Pokemon are also pretty fine, and this team in general is a pretty standard team that I think should be pretty cool. Genesect itself going to be one of the coolest Pokemon to use in this meta, and yeah, I'm kind of curious on how good it's actually going to be. For the next team here, we're going to have basically a pretty similar core again. We're going to have the Genesect in the lead again, which should have the Chill Drive, of course, which is a little bit better in this meta. We have the Say Swap here of the Galarian Weezing. This Pokemon is very unique as you're going to have the part Fairy typing on the Poison type, which is not really that common, to be honest. So this is going to kind of mix up the meta a little bit better. You have Play Rough and Overheat, which basically destroys both of the answers that you really have to this Pokemon, and then you kind of have the Nidoqueen there in the back, which should also be able to deal with potential fire types, which you don't really want to face with the Pokemon in the lead either, and should be a pretty nice core. In general, it's just like a double poison team. I tried to build a team around the Galarian Weezing because I think it's a pretty cool Pokemon, but yeah, we can go right into the next team. For the next team, I kind of wanted to try to make a team around Nihilego. Nihilego is a very unique Pokemon, as this thing now has the move Poison Jab, and there is, I don't think there's actually currently a Pokemon around that is part Poison, part Rock typing. This will be definitely interesting how this is going to play out. Going to be a little bit weak, I think, against the Giratina. So we have two answers that are still fine against Giratina, while also still answering those answers that you don't want to face. You can also try to use something that's a little bit better against Giratina in the back, but you also kind of need something for Nidoqueen, because Nidoqueen is something that hard-walls you as well. And basically both answers here in the back have something for Giratina, because Giratina in the mirror is neutral, and Giratina against Dragalge is also pretty neutral. And you're also going to have the move option there for the opponent's Nidoqueen, as Giratina is a very decent matchup, and Dragalge of course has to be a little bit careful about the Earth Power, but you still have access to Awkward Tail, which should give you a pretty decent matchup. There might be some better teams around this Pokemon, but it's a little bit tricky always to built around the Nihilego, it seems like. So this is the best I came up with. Maybe you come up with something better in the comment section, let me know. The next team is kinda based on what we had already in the Great League version. We're going to have a team here that is, yeah, very interesting. It's a double Coffin team. You can basically XL both of the Coffin Pokemon here. The Kovac Regas and its kinda counterpart from the Galar region here. And then in the lead, you kinda want to have a Fairy type. You can use different kind of Fairy types. You can also use something like the Galarian Weezing if you want to have like something that's a little bit more about like the charge move pressure. But I just opted here for the Ninetales. You can use any other Charmer, but it's just basically a small part there, because it's like it's the same as we had in the Great League before already. This the same team basically in the Great League version of this cup, and it's kind of funny that you can use exactly the same one here now in the Ultra League version as well, just with all XL Pokemon. Hell yeah. The final team here, we're going to have a triple Shadow team. Like, you kind of want to run them all as a Shadow. You don't really have to run the Nidoqueen or the Crobat really, but I think for especially the Scizor, it's pretty important to have the Shadow version here. But I think also the normal version still would work kinda-ish there. But yeah, we have the Scizor, we have the Crobat, we have our Nidoqueen. Crobat is actually a really cool Say-Swap in this meta. There's not a lot that really can handle this thing. Of course, like potential rock user like the Tyranitar, which still would work as well here kinda. But also like something like the XL Crustle would be an issue. But there are not a lot of answers really to the Crobat in this kind of meta. And you have access to Shadow Ball, which can even counter something like the Giratina. This team in general should be a pretty solid one and should work out pretty well. Maybe Genesect might be a little bit of an issue, but I think there are a lot of Pokemon here that still have some potential against it. I don't really know the Genesect matchup at all, but should still be fine. Let me know in the comment section what cup you're going to play. What's your opinion on this cup here? I'm curious about this. I'm most likely going to play this cup for the first time, like when it comes out, but most likely going to swap back into Great League later on, because I don't think there's a ton of things that you can do in this cup. It's still going to be pretty balanced, I think, and should be fine, but it might go a little bit lame later on. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, and this is going to be it then. See you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.